joining us for tonight's edition of Costa Cross-Examination. I'm your host. My name is Andrew Mwansa, sitting in for Costa Mwansa. The United Party for National Development emerged victorious in the Kasama Mayoral by-election held January 29, 2026, following the official declaration of results by the Electoral Commission of Zambia. UPND candidate Baiwa Simpolzia secured the seat after polling 17,647 votes, representing 41% of the total valid votes cast. He defeated Forum for Democracy and Development candidate Peter Yuda Chikweti, who came out second with 14,302 votes, translating to 33%. The Kasama contest comes barely 2 weeks after the Chama parliamentary by-election, which was won by the opposition FDD, making these back-to-back by-elections a significant political test for both the ruling party and the opposition ahead of the August general elections. With just months to go before the polls, what do these results signal for the UPND's prospects of renewing its mandate? I introduce my guest after this. It's channel 271 on DSTV and channel 20 on GoTV, but also we're streaming this program live on our Facebook page at Diamond TV Online. The program is live. You can give your comments and your contributions in the comment section, but also later on we'll be opening the phone lines for you to come through and ask the questions that you have of what we're discussing on the table tonight. My guest tonight is UPND Deputy Spokesperson, Honorable Elvis Nkandu. He joins me on Costa Cross-Examination. Honorable Minister, Costa Cross-Examination is now in session. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on Costa tonight.
Good evening, and good evening, viewers.
Congratulations for the win in Kasama. And I would love for us to begin with that. Obviously, we had spoken to you about 3 days, before, a day before the Kasama mayoral elections, and you expressed confidence that you are going to win these elections. In fact, you said that you don't know a lose in your DNA. There's no loss in your DNA. Let's begin off with your reaction to the win. Did you expect it? Was it a tough race?
Yeah, thank you very much once again. Before I even answer your question, and first I want to start by thanking the people of Kasama. I think for the confidence and the trust that they have deposited in number one, the President of the Republic of Zambia, who is a party president, President Nkandu, and the UPND New Dawn administration. I know that I think their support indeed is really reflecting our good governance, and also the reform program that we have undertaken to better the lives of our people, and also in our participation in our democracy in the country, both local and also at national level. So the people of Kasama, once again, I want to thank you most sincerely for what you did. Number one, also the conduct of the people of Kasama. I think their conduct was exceptional. There was no fights, there was no insults. I think that was a very, very peaceful election that I've ever attended. But this should also be attributed to one person, the President of the Republic of Zambia, who has denounced violence. When you have a visionary leader who is able to say, Elvis, your friends, where you are going, please, we don't want to hear that there is violence there. I think that should be attributed to President Nkandu and the people of Kasama.
So the win in Kasama, what does it represent?
Yeah, I think that was a very sweet victory, I want to confess. Very sweet, because sweet in the sense that I think when we lost Chawama, the opposition, even other people that are sympathetic to them, thought that it was a game over for the UPND because we've lost Chawama. So they were now looking forward to also winning the Kasama Mayoral by-election. And I believe that it is sweet in the sense that we couldn't allow them to win that particular election, because for them, they would have concluded that they are going. So definitely we are saying that because we lost Chawama, then we can't even win Kasama. You know, even when they were campaigning there, I think if you had listed my Facebook page, some of their sympathizers were saying, Chawama, Kasama, you can do what you did to Chawama. There was a lot of talk. So obviously, we couldn't allow the opposition to win that particular election.
I'd love to find out. Perhaps maybe you can get it very clear. When you say you couldn't allow them to win, or you stopped them to win, did you manipulate the results? When you say you stopped them, what do you mean?
Yeah, stopping can come in a lot of forms. I just said that they won Chawama. So obviously, we couldn't allow them to win in Kasama because the strategy has changed. And you know, when people are talking about manipulation, first and foremost, sometimes I do laugh. What has changed? When our colleagues lose an election, then there's manipulation. When they win an election, then democracy has prevailed. So I think the Zambian people should now see through, manipulate these issues. What about the messaging? Do we need also to continue with the road shows? The answer is no. Let's get to the people, physically interact with the people, and also other strategies. That's why I'm saying we stop them, because after putting everything and the lessons learned from Chawama, we are able to stop them from winning.
What made you lose Chawama from your postmortem? What do you think made you lose Chawama? Because Chawama is in the urban setup. Obviously, you would expect that they understand clearly what your government is doing, and I don't know if there's any difference in terms of the messaging of the packages that you're taking to the people of Chawama and in Kasama. What are the differences in terms of what worked and what didn't work?
Yeah, I think, Andrew, what I will not be to our loss. Sometimes you may field a candidate that is not liked by the people. I'm not saying that we fielded someone who was not liked. I'm just trying to give examples. Sometimes the people may tell you this is the candidate that we want, then you go for another candidate. Definitely they may protest as they go to vote. You can also lose an election in that particular manner. Sometimes it's the strategies that you've deployed in that particular election that may not work. So that's why I'm saying that there are a lot of things that we have to look at. We sat down as UPND. We looked at the strategies that were deployed in Chawama. We looked at what was done there. So I think we were these are gaps that need to be filled. He gave us strict instructions, and we stick to the instructions of the coach. Who is the coach? The president in the HM. We couldn't deviate from what we had told to go and do in Kasama. So I think the more reason why we have to win that particular election.
There are over 10 ministers in Kasama, over 5 district commissioners, members of parliament, the political advisor to President Levin Goma, spent I don't know how many weeks in Kasama, a situation that we didn't see in Chawama. What was the reason for why all of you, or the majority of you, cabinet ministers went to come to?
In fact, Andrew, I'm very happy that you've asked that question. Let me take advantage of this opportunity also to say, and through you, people of Zambia should appreciate the prudent manner we are using the resources of the country. When I take you back, every by-election, starting with President Chirua, President Kaunda, President Sat, and the other presidents of Piapani, when there is a by-election, you would see State House, the whole State House shifts to that particular by-election. Since this president came, he has only attended, I think, one by-election, or maybe 2, when we just started. That is Kwacha, and also in Ndola, there's a by where I was born, Kabushi. Those are the only 2 by-elections that the president has attended. But as I said, back when we look back, every by-election, the whole State House could shift, and they were even changing. The vice president will come with his own entourage, and the president finally would come. Meaning, though, and you know what it means when the whole State House shifts. A lot of resources are spent. But this is the president who has said that we have so many politicians in UPND. First, as ministers, before anything, I'm a politician, and I belong to a political party. Don't look at me as a minister I have a position in UPND, the deputy spokesperson, politician. So when there is political activities, where do you expect me to be found? It's there where political activities are being done. So people should not look at me or look at other ministers as ministers. Let them look at them as politicians. So I want to say that indeed we are even fair in the way we are managing the resources by sending only ministers who are politicians. But the president couldn't come there. So we had to save money, a lot of money that could be channeled to other needy areas. So we should not just look at these things in a one-sided way. Look at the president couldn't go there because he wanted to save money. Ministers, you go and represent me there. I know he has the confidence and trust in all of us that we can still deliver. So, yes, we went there. As I said earlier, we wanted to stop the losing of an election, which we knew that we can win. So, obviously, politicians in brackets who are ministers went to Kasama and they did what they were supposed to do. They followed instructions, hence that particular win.
It's good you're bringing up the issues of the president and him not attending or participating in these by-elections through campaigning. Is saving money the only reason for why the president is not actively part of these by-elections?
There could be so many reasons. Remember, the president is on record. Before the bill was passed into law, first, I think when we were talking about methodical of doing things, first the president started with, we're spending a lot of money and time in by-elections. Why can't we remove this by-election? So what happened in Kasama would have been avoided if we had to agree with the proposal that was made by the president and the cabinet that maybe we forgo the by-elections so that we give a chance to a political party to replace. So what happened in Kasama, the PF would have just replaced their own person. Wouldn't have gone there, and they would have still that particular region would have been with the Patriotic Front, because they politicized everything. It's water under the bridge. I just want to also to refer to it. No hard feelings, but it's something that would have saved money from. So that is number one. Number two, the president is saying, you are also politicians, you ministers and others.
He trusts you very much.
Yes, obviously. How could you work with someone who doesn't trust you? The president trusts all of us. He trusts all of us. So when he sends all of us, he knows what we are capable of doing. And for me, I think what is important is not to look at these other trivial issues. The issue is, Mwansa, how much have we saved as a country? If you had allowed the President Daka in the chamber to be in Kasama, how much would have spent colossal sums of money, which money would have been used to other needy areas? So I think for me, that is the most important thing that we need to look at. We should not just look at, no, maybe the president what? No, is a prudent person in terms of spending, because he doesn't want to spend where he cannot spend. So I think for me, the most important issue here is that ministers are politicians. And these ministers hold the political positions. I just gave you deputy spokesperson.
Yeah.
Others are also chairman elections. Others are also chairman of other sectors. So there is a lot that is involved. People should not just look at these ministers as ministers. They are coming from a political party. Which political party had now given them positions?
We didn't see as many ministers in Chama. Was there a reason for why there was not so many ministers in Chama?
In UPND we have so many people. We have so many people. It's not always that Aimbe will always be everywhere. Nkandu will always be everywhere. Sometimes Nkandu, Aimbe and others, Mwangas and others, they may not be there. But we still have a pool of politicians that we had sent in Chawam. And they did their best. I only said maybe strategies couldn't appeal to the people of Chawam.
Do you think if you're in Chama, you'd have lost this election?
No, we win these elections. I think, and I'm happy that you asked that question. These elections are won collectively. No one should claim credit that no, because it's me, then elections will be won. No, because I'm not there, elections will be lost. No. You know, we work like ants. the way ants work, other people are providing supply, other people are delivering the message, other people are coordinating. So we work like ants. So no one should claim, not even, listen,
The reason
not
why I ask
even
this
me.
question is because
Yes.
you are trending on social media as the UPND's big machine political strategist, where he is, things happen, where Nkandu is, then elections are going to be won. So I'm asking, probably if you are in Chama, maybe there's going to be a different result.
We can't shut people. We can't shut people up. Once people are entitled to their own opinions, but the fact is, listen from me. What I'm saying is that Nkandu alone cannot win an election alone. Every time when there are these by-elections, we are together. So we win these elections collectively. No one, and I want to repeat, no one, not even me, would claim that as long as I'm not there, elections will not be won. There are a lot of elections that we have won without me. A lot of them. So no one should claim here that, it's because the elections are won because of Elvis Nkandu. That is not correct. The correct position is that we work like ants. We work like people that would want to achieve something. So we are together collectively winning these by-elections.
Let's talk about the message that you went, to preach in Kasama. What message were you telling the people of Kasama that you would want them to vote for you?
Yeah. As I said earlier, one important message, and I believe the president is listening. Before anything, before we could talk about anything, the first message was that even President Hakainde couldn't do anything. Just the freedom and the peace, the environment that he has created, an enabling environment for people to participate in the democratic principles and ideals. I think for me, that is very, very critical. So one, people should vote for Hakainde Hichilema, even in August, just for one thing, peace. Because when you have peace, these other things will fall into play. When you have peace, today, because we have peace, listen, because of the peace that we are enjoying, today we are in these studios. You know when I'm talking about peace? Mansa, you've been in this country. And what used to happen is that when you are in the studios, it could be a radio station, a TV station, you are attacked. Some people could even be waiting for you outside. No freedom. Look at what used to happen in the markets. Look at what used to happen in bus stations. That is the peace we're talking about. People are enjoying peace. People are able to hold meetings like where we were in Kasama. The FDD used to hold meetings. We also hold. Sometimes we could even bypass each other without anything. So that in itself, for me, is something that the people of Zambia should appreciate and give President Hakainde another mandate because he has really promoted peace. Hakainde Hichilema, whenever there is violence, is the first person to denounce it. That statement where it says you are on your own, I think all of us, I think it has sunk into our bodies that if you do something wrong, you're on. So that's how the president should look like, and also that's how the president should talk. And unlike you just keep it quiet when your citizens are being maimed, your citizens are being insulted, you just keep quiet. So I think for me that is important. That's number one. Number two, we have just remember in 2021, before I come to the messaging, in 2021 it was very difficult to campaign in Kasama. Today, as I'm talking to you, 180,000 are benefiting in Northern Province. We have even increased by another 55,000. So the Northern Province beneficiaries will be now 215,000 beneficiaries of social cash transfer. It's a plus. We also told them that look at your children. This is January. January. Because people could not find money to pay for school fees, exam fees. People used to sit on the floor without desks. So now this is the government that has brought you desks. Those well-to-do could afford to buy a garden chair. What about those that are so vulnerable who couldn't afford to buy a garden chair? They were sitting on the floor. Apart from that, no desk now is being manufactured outside the country. Those contracts are given to Zambians. So money is just revolving. That is also another issue. We also told them that before we came in office, some councils couldn't pay their employees for 17 months. For 17 months. Today, these council employees are now up to date in terms of payments or salaries. Apart from that, we also told them that this is the government that has introduced a 20%. You know what I mean? Kumaritais. Today there is partial withdrawal. There is no one. Yeah. You got the Minister of Justice. You will not find anyone. We have given respect to these people. Today we told them that how much did we find in Malista Matava? You people are not respected. Because Impia Malista Matava is 150. Today is 340. And these farmers used to tell us, Nkandu onda idamule manapali. Na stile mbudi mwile because government enda kumpia. So these are some of the issues. There are so many. Some of the issues that is the messaging that we took there. That's why I'm saying that strategies sometimes differ in the way you approach. First one, the approach was different. We went to Kasama. The strategies were also different. The gaps and the map that we learned lessons from Chawama. So that gave us now that motivation to go and win Kasama.
Just after the day of the elections and after the announcement of the elections, I spoke to FDD President, Mayoral. He claimed these elections were not free and fair. He cited issues of violence that happened in Kasama, also issues of vote buying. Me and you have had this conversation before, Honorable Minister. These allegations are not new. During the recent parliamentary by-elections, the Christian Churches Monitoring Group, CCMG, also raised concerns and specifically mentioned yourself, Honorable, that you're in the habit of vote buying in these elections, and probably that's the reason for why, where you are, you win these elections, because you buy voters.
Right. There's submission from the FDD and also your opinion. I've appreciated.
This is CCMG.
Okay, CCMG.
It's an independent.
Now, this is where I'm starting from. We were just coming from Chawama. We lost election in Chawama. There was no mention of vote rigging, isn't it? There was no manipulation. We lost Petauke. There was no mention of vote rigging. There was no mention of also vote buying because our colleagues won. CCMG didn't talk about anything. Now remember, there was a video that was circulating. Mao Samba was giving out cash. There was that video. CCMG, where were they? There was no comment. There was no comment. There is no video that is circulated that we are giving money. But these people are on us. These are biased. CCMG, even last time I told you, these people are biased. Because if they were not biased, they would have also commented on Mao Samba, the way he was giving out the money. Everyone saw. Now, this is the same ECZ that was there when they won Chawama. The same ECZ that was there when they won Petauke. The same ECZ that was there when we won Pambasha and Kawambo. The same ECZ that was there in Kasama. These are not two different ECZs. One ECZ. But because our colleagues, when they lose, they will find excuses. For us, it's different. When we lose, we come back, sit down around the table, look at what strategies did we deploy in that particular election. Did they work? No. Did they appeal to the people? No. Let's change the strategy. For my appeal to them is that when they lose, let them go back and also look at the gaps, the way we did, and also change strategies. It's not that we manipulated the votes. It's because they want to malign everyone. When they lose for them, then there is manipulation. It's another practical example. There are people that have been taken to courts of law. When they are acquitted, then the judiciary is okay. The judiciary is very fair. When some people are jailed, then the judiciary is not fair. There is also issues of tribal and other things. So my plea to our colleagues in the opposition, we have been in opposition for 23 years ourselves, so we understand these things. Let them come and learn from us. We can teach them how to do opposition politics. it's not everything that we do is manipulative. No. We win election the way they win elections. I think socialists won Kapanda that's their first councillor, and only one councillor over Kwatabamembe in Northern Province. This time around, we won that one. So I think it's now it's a reminder to people like Abena Membe they won Kapanda with a councillor. When Kwadama elections, the same word, we won as UPND. So we have taken it back. It was not ours, it was for PF. Socialist won. Now it is ours through votes. Number two, the same people that are claiming that we manipulated. In fact, as we are not baby leaders, where we go, effort to mona, thing if but you will not hear me complain by CCMG or no, we don't complain.
What do they do?
No, they are lot. Like in the violence, there was no violence in Kasama. What did they do? These are the people. Every political party, and what the strategy is. You don't just talk to people that do not have voters' cards in an election. You talk to people that you know that they vote for you. So you bring them together. You start now looking at what they have. If indeed these people are really voters. So if Malaysia voters face, it's a rage and the voters card. At one point when they found our people, disguised as policemen, they came back to attack Abantues. So after attack Abantues, we didn't know. We were Land Cruiser back with. Once on the Mwaliama were full, as you might by the Land Cruiser. Namapanga. But they are still behind. They are still in Egypt. As we have moved on. No pangas. That's why the president is very categorical. Whosoever is found with Yamapanga, anything that they can use to Panga violence, that person is on his own. So, Eva Trefida, you didn't hear anything about Vadikatapantuesum, Namabwe, like Filaba Kwete, Amabwe for what? Let us differ in ideologies and ideas. Let us just differ in the way we are communicating to people on policies and other things. But not Amabwe. But the point is,
there was no vote buying from
no. You know, it has never been. It has never been. Apart from when they lose an election, they want to find excuses. Which excuses? Okay, no, there was vote buying. So when they win, there's no vote buying. When Mao Samba was dishing out money, all of you, and even you, member media, I've never heard you question Mao Samba, why he did that. But when people bring lies, then you start saying, we are told that you are buying votes. What is the evidence? What is the evidence? And someone with evidence, he has gone scot-free. But anyway, one thing that we know, so obviously people cannot mind those because they have nothing to offer. That's what it means. Now, as we have something to offer, that's why every day they'll pounce on us by making allegations that are unfounded, that we did this, no, they just lost an election because of the messaging, because we had an opportunity now to interact physically with the people that we couldn't interact with in 2021. I can assure you, Kasama is now very red, different from what we found it, because we had to go in their communities, talk to them with a good message, which the president had said, you go and talk about all these things.
You heard Dr. Nkandu, they say that the dynamics of by-election are so different from those of general election, because Honorable Elvis Nkandu be in all the constituencies in 2026 of August to help these other MPs campaign. You obviously be in your own constituency, ensuring that you retain your seat. Are you getting comfortable with these wins in by-elections? And do you agree with Nkandu that in 2020, in August, to be each one for himself and God for us all, and whatever manipulation that you do when you have over 10 cabinet ministers won't happen, and it won't happen?
Manipulation. Listen, Mwasa, listen. Dr. Kamwe is my brother. But I think I need also to say one thing. The problem with my brother is his mouth. His mouth is a problem. I'm saying his mouth is a problem because he's the same person. I'm sure that video went viral where he said, Nkandu to allow us to listen to Sepa because they are just singing and dancing. So I'm happy that in the singing, they had to win an election. In the dancing, if you are told there was those dances, we won an election. I'm saying this because I think his mouth is a very big problem. There's a lot that he talked about when he was in Kasama. A lot. Things that we may not waste time talking about them. But I think what is important is that he has now agreed that he has failed. When he came there, he was bubbling with confidence that because now will have come to Kasama, I'm going to make sure that the Nkandus this time around, they are going to lose an election. What transpired was a different thing. We won that election. Again, it changes. Again, it changes. People need to look at these politicians. With that confidence that they are winning. After losing, they change now by saying, no, the Nkandus will not be everywhere. They will be confined in their respective constituencies. So each one for himself, as you said. For two statements. Now, one thing that we need to realize, I always talk about Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1. It's high time the Cambodians agree to himself that some people should rest. People should rest. Me, I'm on record, Mwansa. Because I always follow that your 3 verse 1. There are only two things. When we were in opposition, government, what awaits us is to get out of government. There are only two things. Our colleagues were in government. When they were in government, what awaited them is to get out. There is nothing like you go into government, come back again. No, so people should understand, even us, we've been given an opportunity by the people of Zambia to save them. Office. The best we can do is to look elsewhere. Because but there are people folk from office, they just want every time same names every time. No, there's time for everything. It's time for everything. Your time when your time is up, it's up. When my time is up, it will be up. When President Aka in the HMS time will be up, it will be up. We need to agree. But our colleagues like the Cambodians, they want to continue being relevant in the political space, and yet very poor. That is the fact. Very poor. But look at my elections. I'll give a practical example. Listen, another practical example. In 2021, Kambwili came there twice in Kaputa to the campaign to me. Did he win? He lost. So this is the second time, in case people of Zambia do not know, this is the second time that I'm defeating Kambwili. In Kaputa, he came there twice. He lost terribly. In Kasama, he came there. He lost. So this is what I'm trying to say, that
but in Chama you won.
GBM also came to Kaputa. The vice president by then, running mate, who's this? Nkandu came there. Bamusenge came there. Kaputa. But I defeated them. So what we are trying to say is that when your time is up, just agree with yourself that your time is up. I want to appeal to my brother, Bakambui. But let him tone down. Sometimes it's important you also reflect on your life, what you are going through. I think it's time that my brother should rest in peace.
Without making this interview about Kambu, don't you think?
No, you brought it yourself.
My question was in principle that the dynamics of a by-election are different from that of a general election. We saw the MMD win, by-elections, but lost to the Patriotic Front, and the Patriotic Front getting to win and they lost the UPND.
Quite one.
So, Don't you think it's the same principle?
White one. The principle is the same. And the principle is okay. So why are you talking about us as if we were the only party that had sent the people there to help? Are you telling me that FDD, that candidate was just also people? They vote. So people should understand. Listen, people should understand. In a by-election, in a general election, each one for himself. No. So it's 50-50. So people should not feel comfortable about more position. No, because if it were the then our candidate will be alone. Yes, let him be alone. Them too will be alone.
I'd like to pick your mind on the on this very aspect. That look, over the years, ruling parties haven't been the favorite along the line of rail. In fact, in almost every government, a ruling party will not return Lusaka and the copper belt. Do you think that's the same for you as the UPND? You've lost favor along the line of rail and the copper belt and Lusaka.
Losing Chawama should not be a litmus test for the general election. I think this is where we're having it all wrong. I remember when we lost Chawama, there was celebration amongst those in opposition. That we have lost the urban vote. I gave you issues here. Strategies differ. Gaps were there. Candidates.
Do you think yes?
Candidates. So that should not be a litmus test for us for a general election. One thing that people need to understand, gentlemen and women, those that are listening to us, in a democracy, you can lose some, and you can win some. That's what the president even said. Even to our members also of the UPND. You can lose some seats, you can win some seats. That's democracy. So if we lose, if we had lost Petauke, for instance, when we lost Petauke, what were they saying? Eastern Province has rejected the UPND because of one constituency. When we went to Lumezi, we won Lumezi, what did they say? They have manipulated. So these are the dynamics of the opposition, my friend. They will never, what is black for them will be red. What will be red for them is white. So I don't expect us to be judged on Chawama, whether we have lost urban votes. Remember, we have won urban votes. Kwacha, is Kwacha peri-urban? Or is Kwacha rural? Kwacha is urban. Kabushi is urban. Kitu and Ndola. These are urban areas where we won this election. Why didn't you ask me a question then that you have gained ground? You were quiet, and people were quiet. Now, because you have lost Chawama, you want now to look at Chawama as everything to go by, that we have lost popularity in the urban areas. Listen, there's a lot that we have done. A lot that we have done. When it comes to employment opportunities, I think...
I'll be coming to that. The phone lines are now open. You can come through and give us your calls. We are discussing the just ended Kasama mayoral elections. My guest is UPND Deputy Spokesperson, Honorable Elvis Nkandu. The phone lines are open, Honorable. People will be calling and asking questions. But we have less than 200 days to go before we go into the general elections. Do you believe the UPND have governed the Zambian people well to deserve another 5-year term?
Obviously, as Deputy Spokesperson of the party, we need to be judged to the promises that we had promised our people. A lot of the promises that were made in 2021 has been fulfilled. That's where you can judge a political party if they have done well or not. We said that we are going to enhance on CDF. We have done that. We said we are going to bring free education. It has been done. We said we are going to pay retirees. It has been done. We said, when we are talking about CDF, in fact, we have even doubled. We said $1 million from 1.6 million to $1 million. $1 million today is 19 million. 19 million today is 40 million. So we have even doubled it. We said we are going to create quality jobs. That we have done. So a lot of things we have done. But I'm not saying that we have done everything 100%. The people that are listening to me, I'm not saying that everything is perfect, everything is done. No, we need to continue working very hard so that even what we have not yet done, something that the people of Zambia are looking forward to, I think is also done. But I believe that 80% of the things that were promised our people have been fulfilled. And that's a distinction. Because when you are given 10 questions and you get 8 right, that's a distinction. That is 80%. So the people of Zambia want to appeal to them that they should look at us as people that have really made it very, very possible.
Is it the Zambians giving you that distinction, or you're making your own script as UPND?
Yeah. I'm also a Zambian. Remember, the fact that I'm in government does not mean that I'm not.
Well, you're conflicted because you're the people that promised.
Listen, yeah, it's us who promised. Let someone say there's no free education, which we promised. We promised free education, which we have done. We have given people, those that were sitting on the floor, they're now feeding program, the first time in the history of this country, where your son, Mwancho and Mwansa, will go to school without thinking about food. Your son will be given food through that feeding program. So that is also a plus. I just told you that before we came into office, the people that used to benefit from social cash transfer, we had only 700,000 beneficiaries. Today, as I'm talking to you, we have now 1.7 million people that are on social cash transfer. So there is something that we are doing to alleviate poverty. We have grown the economy from negative 2.8% to now 5 to 6%. This is something that we are doing. Today, look at the dollar. At least it is going down. Look at fuel. That is going down. There is a lot that we are doing. My appeal to the people of Zambia is to give us time. We know where we are taking this country.
You said you've only done 80%. What is composed in this 20% that you think haven't done?
Yeah, because in every situation, people can complain. That's why we cannot say 80%. It's like, let me give a practical example. When we say that when you go and visit these hospitals and clinics, you find that the drugs are at 80%. Why not 100%? It's because some of the hospitals cannot have a certain drug. So obviously you can't be 80%. So for us now, there's a lot that we have done. But you know, there are also pockets that are complaining that the cost of living, and so in 20%, that's where we have all those issues that we need to sort out. That's why we are saying there's a 20% that need to be done. For instance, when people are going to Dar es Salaam, for instance, to buy goods, the money that they are going with now is very different from when the dollar was at 28 to 28 kwacha. But what is happening is that shop owners and the manufacturers cannot reduce their prices, and I believe it's something that will be done. Now, just a minute. Now, in that, because the prices are not being reduced, people can complain. So those complaints, you can now bring them into that 20%, because there are also those complaints. That's why I'm saying that it's not everything that is perfect.
Yes. Let's pick our first caller. We have a first caller, Tabo Kawana. I meant to believe that this is the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Information. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Andrew.
Good evening, Mr. Kawana.
Good evening, Honorable Minister.
Good evening, yes.
Just calling to greet you, and also to greet Andrew, and to greet the viewers, and also to greet the people. Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, thank you so much, PS Tabo Kawana, for the greeting, and I'm sure the people of Kasama and the people of Zambia have heard that greeting. We were talking about what you haven't achieved. The major complaint, Honorable Minister, not to lie to you, when we receive calls on different programs, even on radio, you hear what people complain about, that the cost of living is high. Yes, you've done so well in stabilizing the macroeconomic indicators. Today, we are saying that inflation is now at a single digit.
From where?
From 11.4 now.
No,
it's 11.2.
when we got into office, it was 24%.
Yes, now at 9.4.
Yes,
9.4%. The economy is growing in the positive, about 5.2%. The exchange rate is doing well. But these things are very good for the country, but they're not translated into reducing the prices of commodities. This is what the complaint is, Honorable, for most of the Zambians, that yes, you've given them free education, but you've given them free education, but salad na idula, sugar na idula.
This is what Andrew is saying, that it is important for our colleagues to reduce some prices. Because you and me knows, when the dollar was at 28 kwacha, when the fuel was at 30 kwacha, people used to say, I'm affairs that because there is fuel, really expensive. We have also a dollar, spares are very expensive. Now that the dollar has really come down, and also fuel has come down, my appeal as spokesperson of the party, David spokesperson of the party, is to appeal to these colleagues. Reduce our prices here. Government has done its part. Let our colleagues also do their part. But we shake them affairs, but we shake that's why the president is always on record saying, let's work hard. At least there's something we are doing in agriculture. The problem. Because let's continue so that just by
so who are you appealing to, Honorable? Because now the Zambians
I'm appealing to
that look, the Zambians must be appealing to you that Nkandu, Weshenko, sugar, Weshenko. No.
Andrew, government has got its own role. The role of government is just to create an enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. Let's underline that. Government's role is to provide an enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. So, government in the private sector, there will be no jobs. That's why we have agreed. In a country where we have liberalized economy, let the private sector also play its role. So, are you telling me that the government should now start to grab Pangamesh? No, the private sector is very Pangamesh. Listen. So now we are appealing to Pangamesh. I think the exchange rate, the fuel and everything that you use, that's where help us reduce. It's about talking to each other.
The reason why I asked that question is because in my campaign in 2021, we used to see President Haka in the same. Now we make a salad na idula. That was some office for Kabosha, Jungle salad. Bunga na udula. That was some office for price ya bunga. So now, the Zambians expect answers from you as opposed to you appealing to the private sector.
The answers are already there. As we have put measures in place, I have covered the economy to grow and also reduce inflation, issues of exchange rate, issues of fuel. If the government now is fuel panshi, so if so no change. It's now to talk to our people that are in this business.
Are you talking to them?
Yes. In fact, don't be surprised when you hear that prices are reduced. I have some information that ZAM is talking to its members with the Minister of Commerce to see how best that could be realized. So this is what we are doing. So let's work hard. Everything in this country, we can say whatever we want to say, but I think what is important is what the President is saying. Let's work hard. When we work hard, all these things will be...
Let's go to Chinsali, Honorable Minister. We have Bango calling us from Chinsali. Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Nkweto. Mr.
Good evening, Honorable Nkandu.
Good evening, thank you, Nkweto.
Nkandu nesimu yenu mwabombeni era okubomba kwenu munewombera okukira mu yeki eki ekyabuzibu kyakuba okweba ki mulerosya samu kyebabukanwa ekyoba nensuba munine boleera nga bayukiza ba opposition ezokukosa kwamaano free education cash for wage na olupya okulwa abalandoolo kirebomba mu miki
abantu abali mu kalale abalobesa pa intaneti netuleekita ku mafoni kyekyokupoosa bamaani kupoosa banoferanga abantu ikyakuleeterekesa kwe bati 2026 nayibalanire ekyo tukwira okukita namutunkira okukita mwebutireku bwa UPND mukalo oleeteeka kuyiminika abantu ewamawaagi bakeminika n'otukuyiminika abantu abakuba bati bali recommended by the province by the district consulate kuya pa ground mwamuposeranga bawaagi bakamweba ekishinka bati bali HH takwete competitor nakwali isuko kulanga tokweba ati pawesi y'omuntu mu president talina abakyala bonta abatabali organize tabali interested okuteeka ekyalo intention kulanga kati tufunye ku HH tapati manifesto nga bamuna ku HH bakakita kintu ku education CTA bwakatundango bakabwesha bushaba myowala wansiika bakyani buke kasikowekitabako kulanga kati tufunye ku HH
Totramkwa.
Kunya kwechechiyo kurandeko kakitira abantu Nkandu muye background muye transparent muye bilija abantu bamawazi balikwaya natotrampa.
I'll be reading some messages later on, but well, obviously I'm going to therefore sincerely commending you and giving you advice on what to do as you adopt candidates. But I don't know if you've seen this, Honorable. What is now trending is your picture and that of President Hakainde Hichilema and other people stating that probably President Hakainde Hichilema must appoint you as running mate ahead of the August elections. Do you entertain thoughts of one day becoming vice president of this country?
Yeah, first I want to say that shutting people up is not possible. People are entitled to their own opinion. That's where we should start from. And also say, secondly, that we have the vice president. We have the vice president who is Mutarena Rumangu. People should not even harbor intentions of becoming vice president, because that is the prerogative of the president. So when you have an intention, for instance, you want to be vice president, how? Because what if you're not appointed by the president? This is presidential is not an elected, a vice president is not an elected position. You are appointed as running mate by the president. So the prerogative of appointing the vice president should be left to the president. That is his prerogative. So people can say whatever they want to say. But I think what is important is not to look at that. Let's work the way let's work hard. The only thing, through hard work, people will be able to go far. But if you don't want to work hard, you don't expect it to go far. So the only thing that I would want to say is that we have the vice president. We are, the president has the prerogative to appoint whoever he wants to appoint. So no one should harbor such intentions of becoming vice president. It's not possible. It's not possible. I appreciate those that are saying that. I really appreciate. But I think it is important that we now focus on bettering the lives of our people, not positions. You, Mwansa, where you are, you can still contribute to the development of this nation. Where you are, it's not a position that can make you contribute. People don't need to be greedy. Unless I'm president, that's when I can do this. Unless I'm vice president, that's when I can do this. No, where I am, I'm very comfortable, and I always appreciate President Hakainde Hichilema. Bank market, you need to listen to that. Bank market, Nkandu imi nako wakaputa, na imi na wina, Bambia na minister. What else do I want? Let me work hard on this position. Let me deliver on my position. It's from my deliverables that the President HH will be able to say, this is what I'm supposed to do. So people should not think always that where you are, you can still contribute to the growth of the party and also to the development of the nation.
Has this got into your head that people are giving you commendations, people are clapping for you, that you're one of the most hardworking ministers, you're one of the most hardworking politicians within the UPND, and the position of vice president is something that...
One thing that I should tell you, I'm not the only one who is working hard. You know, people should understand the fact that, Mwansa, if today you're working very hard here, down on TV, then you're not alone. There are people that are helping you. So definitely, there's no one. President Hakainde Hichilema cannot work alone. there are also those cabinet ministers and other people who are not even cabinet ministers who is helping him to work very hard. So you can't just point at one person that is the only one who is working hard. The only thing I can say is that I'm humbled by those that are saying that. I really appreciate their sentiments, but I think what is important is collectively working hard towards achieving what we want to achieve as a country.
Before we conclude the program, like I mentioned earlier on, we have less than 200 days to go before the elections. There's a general worry that for the presidency, President Hakainde Hichilema, and this is what he said when he was at Mungushi, when he was addressing the structures in Lusaka, that people are telling him that for him, he's safe, but you members of parliament are not safe in your positions, and most of you, are not going to return your seats. Is this something that you're talking about as UPND members of parliament, or something that you think is a possibility, that for the presidency you are set, but for those members of parliament there's a huge question whether most of you are going to make it?
For me, I would say that that is just a wake-up call. If people are saying what you've just said, there is a wake-up call for all of us members of parliament to work very hard. One thing that you need to know, the president is working through cabinet, through other people, through members of parliament. The president has initiated a lot of policies, very good policies, which are being implemented by the same members of parliament. You go into all these constituencies, even opposition members of parliament. For me, this time around, my research, if I'm not mistaken, is that almost every member of parliament has delivered. For me, I think what we need to look at is the relationship that you have with your electorates. Do you go to your constituents? Do you interact with people? How is your behavior towards the electorates? But when you look at development, almost every constituency, because of the enhanced CDF, every member of parliament will be able to point at what he has done. The interaction that, I think something that we also need to understand. 30% of ministers do not come back in parliament. That's why we are saying that we need now to break that barrier. Let's work hard so that we can be the first set of ministers that breaks that barrier of not more than 30% coming back into parliament. So definitely for me, let's just listen from them what they are saying. And if there are some gaps that they have seen, let us go and polish up, fill those gaps so that we can retain as members of parliament.
One of the messages here on Facebook. In Chawama, we didn't see the presence of Honorable Gary Nkombo, except the day that he was announcing the candidate who's going to participate in the UPND ticket. But also in Chawama, I don't know if I'm wrong, but we seem to have not seen the presence of your chairman in charge of elections. Today there's rumors circulating that he's resigned from the party. Where is Honorable Gary Nkombo, and what is the true position? Is he still a member of the UPND?
He's still the member of the UPND. He's our elections chairman. He's our member of parliament for Mazabuka. And I think he issued a statement. I don't know if you've seen it, just to dispel those rumors. Now, this tells you how desperate our colleagues are. That is coming from the opposition. The desperation that I've seen once, I've never seen it before.
Why wasn't he in Chawama? Why wasn't he in Kasama?
No, why wasn't? This is what I told you. Was I in Chawama myself? Why didn't you ask me why I was not in Chawama? Him too cannot be in Chawama. He can't be in Kasama, but he can be elsewhere. You know, we have a pool, as I said, we have a pool of politicians in UPND. Whether Gary Nkombo is there or is not there, we can still deliver. Whether Nkandu is there or is not there, we can still deliver. So we should not point at one person because he was not there. Then the rumors should now start circulating that he has resigned.
Well,
no, I'm just telling you.
In charge of elections.
Yes, in charge of elections, but there are two. We were with Mufalali there in Kasama. Mufalali is the deputy chairman for elections. He was there. So you wanted the two of them to be there. In Chawama, Garinkombo was in Chawama. Mfalali was not there. So this is how it works. So people should not just start peddling lies, rumors that he has resigned. No. You know, this is not the first time that Garinkombo has found himself in social media that he has resigned. It's not the first time. This is not the first time that we've heard that Garinkombo wanted to be president, and those rumors went like bushfire. No, leave Garinkombo alone. He's quiet, he's enjoying his peace. Let him enjoy his peace. So, he's our chairman for elections. He's also UPND member of parliament for Mazabuka. He has not gone anywhere. He's still with us. That's the position.
Your concluding remarks as we close the program.
Thank you very much. I think my concluding remarks could be, the Zambian people now can see through what the opposition are talking about. When they lose, then there's manipulation. When they win, then democracy has prevailed. As when we lose, we just congratulate. And if there's a president who has been very consistent, every time we lose an election, he always congratulates the winner, regardless of which point of party they're coming from. When we win, he also congratulates us as a party when we win elections. So my appeal to our colleagues in opposition, give credit where it is due. Though I know, remember we say, whatever we do, whatever we do, those people in opposition will be able to look at it in a negative way. So we understand, and I always give this example. That will be the end of the world. So we don't expect the opposition to praise us. The opposition will never praise us. So all we need to do is eyes on the ball. We need to be focused, as someone said. We need to be focused and make sure that we better the lives of our people. That's what we were elected for. So please, Zambian people, my appeal to you is that Rome was not built in a day. There's a lot that we have done. There's a lot that I have not even spoken about that we have done. So trust the process, and we are going to make sure that we better your lives as we forge ahead in managing your affairs.
UPND Deputy Spokesperson, Honorable Elvis Nkandu, thank you so much for having the time to speak to the Zambian people.
You're always welcome. Thank you so much.
Cross-examination. Now, our Jan's guest has been UPND Deputy Spokesperson, Honorable Elvis Nkandu. We're looking at the victory that the UPND scored in the just ended Mayoral by-elections. On behalf of the entire production crew, thank you so much for watching. My name is Andrew.